Hey allihopa! Hi everyone! So today's video is a bit different from my usual content. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Jessie and I live in Uppsala, Sweden. And on this channel I usually post vlogs about my knitting projects and also other craft related things. And you can also follow me on Instagram at knitwithjessie and on Ravelry at goingjessie. So I'm finally doing my what I made in 2024 video and hopefully it's not gonna be a long one, famous last words. So this is the first time I'm doing this kind of video and I thought it would be fun to do a sort of ranking. So I made a spreadsheet and I listed all of the things that I made in 2024. So that's why I'm looking down on my computer screen here, if you're wondering. What I did was that I listed all of my knits from 2024 and then I have 3 different questions that I have asked myself about these garments and accessories that I made. So let me go through them all. The first question is, did I enjoy knitting this piece? And I have a scale from 1 to 5 where 1 is terrible and 5 is fantastic. The next question is, how much have I worn it since I finished the piece? Also here the range goes from 1 to 5, where 1 is not at all and 5 is all the time. And the third question is, do I want to knit this again? Here as well, I have 1 to 5, where 1 is never and 5 is absolutely. And this is mostly like theoretical because, you know, you don't have time to knit everything you want in life, which is really sad. But if I had the time, yes, then absolutely I would. And then I sum up all of the points from each question and then divide it by 3. And then I've ranked them from top to bottom. So it's gonna be really exciting to show you guys how I've done this. So today I'm wearing my Poetry Night by Drops Design. This is what I claim to be my first knitwear since I started to knit more seriously. So I knitted this in October 2023 and since then I haven't really put down my needles, figuratively but also quite literally. So I have been knitting for more than 2 years, maybe 3, but it feels like 2024 was really the year that I learned everything. So I count the start of my knitting journey in October 23. But yeah, I think we should just get into it because I'm afraid this video is gonna be very long. But I try to speed it through because I have, as you can see here, quite a lot of things. So the first thing that I knitted in January 2024 was the Ultra Easy Beanie by Easy As Knit. So I was still really unsure about yarn weights and all of those things, gauge and etc. So I knitted a hat or beanie for my boyfriend using the Sandnes Double Sunday, which is actually a yarn that is too thin for this design. But I adjusted it by adding more stitches so that it would fit around his head. But then I did some weird, like when I folded the brim and then sewed it down, it looked quite kind of weird. So there was this line. So in the end I ended up frogging it. So to answer my questions, did I enjoy knitting it? I gave it a 3 because it was like a decent project and it went very fast. And then how much have I or he worn it since it has been finished? And obviously I gave it a 1 because I frogged it. And then, do I want to knit it again? I gave it a 2, which is like, I wouldn't say never, but I know that there are other hats or beanie patterns that I would want to try out instead. That gives it a total score of 2. So the second thing that I finished in January was this one, the Weasley sweater. And the pattern I used for this is the Foggy Autumn by Drops Design. And the yarn that I used was the Drops Soft Tweed. But I have modified it slightly. I think I made the ribbing like a 2x2 ribbing. And then also obviously I sewed on the capital letter J with a double stitch. This is the only piece that I started in 2023 but finished in 2024. Did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I did, but it's just like a very decent standard project, so I gave it a 3.5. how much have I worn it since? I gave it a 4. I wear this quite often right now because it's winter in Sweden. And then, do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 3 for the pattern, but for the yarn itself and the fact that I want to make another Weasley sweater for my boyfriend, I would rank it a 4 or 4.5. But for the pattern, I gave it a 3. So the total score is a 3.5. Next on, we have another Drops Design pattern. This is the Forced Edge, and I use the Sandnes Baby Ull Lanette. I think the pattern is quite cute, but I haven't really worn this at all because I think that it's just slightly too fitted for my taste. I want it to be slightly more oversized. So for my questions, I gave it a 3 for how much I enjoyed knitting it, and then how much have I worn it since it's finished, and I gave it a 1, which is really shameful. I think I want to frog this and make something else. The only issue I have with this is that I have sewn it here on the edges, which is so annoying, and I don't know really how I could pick this up without damaging the yarn. So I'm gonna try to figure that out, but for now, who knows, I might just wear it one more time before, but it's not my favorite vest, but it's still very cute. Maybe I could gift it to my sister, not sure. Do I want to knit it again? I gave it a 1 because no, I don't think I would, especially with the fact that you have to sew it together. So the total score here is a 1.7. Next up, we have the Weekend Hat by Petite Knit. I really like this pattern. It's very easy and a very like basic standard beanie. And for this one, I used the Sandnes Double Sunday. I haven't worn this in a while now, but when I first finished it, I wear it all the time basically. Did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I did. I gave it a 3.5. And then how much have I worn it since it's been finished? And I gave it a 4.5 because I have actually worn this every day before I finished another project that you will see later on. And do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 4.0 because yes, I would. And you will see that I actually did. So the total score for this is a 4. Next up, we have the Stockholm Slipover V-neck by Petite Knit. And the yarn that I used for this one was the Filcolana Saga and Filcolana Alva. And as you can see, it's a bit big. So last time when I talked about this, when I finished it in, let's see, we're in February right now. I'm supposed to also mention which months that I finished these, so I will try to remember that. But when I finished this in February, I thought that this was the size that I wanted because I wear this over long sleeves and shirts, but I think that it's a bit too big actually. It looks quite baggy on me. So if I knit this again, I would make a smaller size, which you will see later as well. So I really enjoyed knitting this and I gave it a 4. And then I have worn this quite a lot, so I gave it also a 4. Do I want to knit this again? Yes, I gave it a 4 because it actually happened. So anyway, the total score is a 4 for this. Next on, we have another weekend hat. I made a weekend hat for my boyfriend, also in Sandnes Double Sunday. I finished this in March, so it was still quite cold. If I rank it, did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, a 3 standard. How much has he worn this since then? Not that much, so I gave it a 2 because he has actually worn it, but I think that, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too tight on him. At least he has one now, and it's very cute that we matched each other. Oh, and also I can use it myself. So do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 4 as well because it's possible that I would knit another one for myself, but maybe holding it together with a mohair or something to make it more fluffy. We'll see. But the total score for this is a 3. So then we got into April and I started to focus more on summer spring knits. So the thing that I finished then was this one, which is the Trip to Provence by Drops Design. And it's a cardigan, my first cardigan, I think. So the yarn that I used for this was a salvaged merino wool from Up Yarn Upcycled. It's a really small business. I'm not sure where the owner sources her material from. And then I held it together with Sandnes Tynn Silk Mohair. And I hate it. And the Thin Silk Mohair by Sandnes it's terrible for me. I haven't worn this at all. It's really sad actually, because it's actually a very cute cardigan. My sister made one as well, or she made one before me, and that's why I wanted to knit this. She used, I think, some thicker alpaca mohair substitute, but for me I used this combination because I had the merino wool already. Did I enjoy knitting this? Yes, I did. It was fun. It was my first lace pattern as well. But then how much have I worn it since? And I gave it actually a 1.5, which is kind of nice of me, because truly I haven't really worn this at all. So maybe it should be a 1. It's just like a torture for me to wear this. It's so itchy. And I don't want to have a long sleeve under this, because I imagine this as a summer piece or spring piece. We'll see. I might just frog this. Right now it's just lying in my wardrobe, so it's very sad. And for the pattern, do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 1 because even though it's a cute cardigan, I think that I would prefer to knit something else that is lacy and thin. So the total score for this one is a 2. Next up we have another, or an actual summer knit, I would say. It's this top. It's a bit wrinkly, sorry. It's the Army top by Sofia Grönros, or Stuff I Create. So this was, or is, a Finnish pattern that I translated. And I think that with my knowledge at that time, I didn't really understand a few things. So the edges curl inwards, and just the sizing and everything. And this was also quite terrible to knit with the drop spell that I used. I didn't have, and I didn't buy any metal needles, so I used my regular Knit Pro wooden needles, which was fine, but it was also not that pleasant. Did I enjoy knitting it? I gave it a 1. I just was really miserable almost the whole time for this. How much have I worn it? I have not really worn it at all. I gave it a 1.5 because I tried to wear it, but then it was a bit too big, and the V-neck is like too deep, so you see my bra, and I didn't really feel comfortable to wear this. But I actually really like the fabric. It's very like drapey, and it's very soft after you wash it and wear it. So I might just throw this and knit something else, another top, but then I would use metal needles. Do I want to knit this pattern again? I gave it actually a 2.5 because this is a very standard like top, so I might, but not really, you know. So the total score for this is a 1.7. Next in June we have, ta-da! I think that this might be the project that I'm most proud of. It's my Cumulus blouse, or modified as a cardigan. And this is a pattern by Petite Knit, and I used the Fingerborg Puff. Fingerborg, she's a Swedish yarn dyer. This mohair substitute is the most loveliest thing ever. I think that this is the yarn that itches the least for me. It barely itches at all. I have actually bought some more for a different project. I'm very happy that I found a fluffy yarn that works for me. I have a couple more, but this is like the best one for me. Even though it's very expensive, it's really worth it because I get a lot of compliments on this piece, so I'm very happy about it. Did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I did, because also this is one of my, I guess, larger modifications of a pattern, so it's very like exciting to try out different things. If you're curious of how I did this and all of my other patterns, you could look at my Ravelry page, or you can watch the vlogs when I actually made these, because I go more into depth with them. The next question, how much I have worn it since? I gave it a 4. Maybe I should give it this a 4.5, but it's more like a summer, spring, early autumn piece for me because it's so bright. But I worn it quite a lot, and it hasn't even like peeled, I think. Like, no, it hasn't. So this is great quality. It's really worth the money. The total score for this is a 4.2. In July, I made the top sole top by Mochi Knits, and I used the Sandnes Line. Here again, I didn't have any metal needles, so I just tortured myself knitting this on wooden needles. It worked fine, but it was also a torture, so it was a very slow project because you're using quite small needles. As you can hear, I didn't really enjoy knitting this, so I gave it a 2. The construction of this I really enjoyed though. It's just that the yarn itself, it's not my favorite. Also because the feel of the yarn, it dries out the moisture of my fingers. How much have I worn it? I haven't worn it at all. I think I wore it once in Luleå when I was on vacation, but that was it basically, because this is, as you can see, it's too big, and I think I mentioned that in the project vlog as well. So for the do I want to knit it again, I actually gave it a 4 because I would actually make this again, and I think I'm gonna do that because I have some yarn that I think would fit this pattern. It's just that I need to size down. I know that this is supposed to be a bit loose fitted, but for me that's not working at all, so I'm gonna throw this as well. The total score for my top sole or sole top is a 2. In July, I also finished a bag. This is self-drafted by me. And I know that I mentioned this in a couple of vlogs, but I was supposed to make an insert here, maybe with pockets, just to line it and make it more sturdy. I haven't done that. It's 2025 and I haven't done that. We'll see if I throw this or not, or if I actually finish it like as a whole. I finished knitting it, so that's why I'm including it here, but I might just, I'm not sure what to do with this one. For this I used the Sandnes Tyck Line and then also Thun Silk Mohair print that I won from the Ullottul knitting cruise. I quite enjoyed this. It was a basic standard knitting. I gave it a 3. And then how much have I worn it? And I haven't. So a 1. Do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 2 because I like to knit bags, but I don't know if I would knit this exact bag again. In total, a 1.8. In August, I made the cardigan number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And for this, I used the Filcolana Peruvian held together with Filcolana Alva. I hope you can see that, but it has peeled quite a bit on the underarms and in the armholes and maybe on the sides. Okay, maybe not quite a lot, but some. And it has peeled some here, if you can see. I think that's because of the Peruvian wool, even though this is great. This is a heavy, like thicker cardigan that you can use as a jacket almost. But I think that this yarn combination, something is like slightly itchy. So if I wear it for a whole day, it's like starting to really annoy me. So but anyway, for the ranking, did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I did. I gave it a 4. I think maybe should have gave it a 4.5 because there's some new techniques that I hadn't tried in this pattern, like saddle shoulders. How much have I worn it since? I gave it a 4 because I worn it quite a lot when it's been really cold or when it's been warm, when I can use it as a jacket. So it's very versatile actually. Do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 3 actually. It's not that I don't like to knit this pattern. I really like it, so I would actually make it again, but I know that there are other projects that I really want to knit that are could be similar to this. So for that, we'll see. I gave it a 3 and the total score for this is a 3.7. Then we head into September. and I knitted my second Stockholm Slipover V-neck. Here it is. As you can see, this is a lot smaller than the first one. So again, this is a pattern by Petit Knit, and here I used the Gepard My Fine Wool, held together with Adlibris Alpaca Superfine. I'm not sure about my gauge. I think it was slightly smaller. I'm not sure, don't remember. But it ended up being the perfect size for me. It's like slightly roomy, but not too baggy. And also it's a bit cropped, so it goes slightly below my waist, which is nice. Did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I gave it a 4 and have worn this quite a lot since then because it's so versatile. You can wear it as is or over a shirt. So that's why I gave it a 4.5. This is also one of my favorites from 2024. And do I want to knit this again? Yes, I think I would. It's just a really nice pattern and it gives you a very basic but versatile, stylish garment. So the total score is a 4.2. Then I have another accessory actually. It's my self-drafted Hufflepuff scarf. It's so long actually. So I used the Cascade Yarns Merino DK, which is the yellow one. And then I used the Rosarios for Doru, not sure, which is the gray yarn. I really enjoyed knitting this, but it was just a really simple back and forward scarf. So I gave it a 3. And then how much have I worn it since? I gave it a 1.5 because I mainly did this for the Harry Potter event back in November. And then I haven't really worn it since. But I can use it again because we're gonna attend another Harry Potter event in November, I think. I still really like it and I'm very happy that I made one. I can use it for Halloween or other costume parties. Do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 2, which is like, maybe not, but who knows. The total score for that one is a 2.2. Then we head into October, and that's when I did my first test knit ever. This is the Roma Vest by Mochi Knits, and I used the Knitting for Olive Merino, held together with Isair Silk Mohair. The Isair Silk Mohair is another mohair favorite of mine that I can use. It doesn't itch, but it's very fluffy. So, did I enjoy knitting it? I gave it a 3.5. I love the pattern. It's really easy to follow and it's a fun pattern. But I was so stressed when I did the test knitting, so that's why the grading is slightly lower. How much have I worn it since it's finished? I only gave it a 3.5. I worn it quite a lot, but not as much as I wanted to because the vest itself is quite thick, so it's a bit warm to wear sometimes, and it hasn't been that cold here in Sweden. I would like to wear it more, but just a bit too warm. Do I want to knit it again? I gave it a 3. It might happen, it might not happen, but I wouldn't mind to knit another one if I could. So the total score for this one is a 3.3. And then in November, I finished the Lindgren sweater by Knitting for Olive or Pernille Larsen. I used the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino for this one. I really enjoyed knitting this. This was my first multicolored project. I guess my first color work. I don't count my Hufflepuff scarf as a color work, but I guess it is actually. But this is like my first sweater. So I gave it a 4.5 for how much I enjoyed knitting it. It was really fun. It went really fast. Only took me like 2 weeks. And then how much have I worn it since? I gave it a 3.5. Like I said, it hasn't been that cold, so I haven't had many opportunities to wear it, but when I can, I wear it quite a lot. And I think that one thing that holds me back from wearing it even more is the color choices. So if it was a bit more basic or muted with the colors, I might wear it slightly more often, but still I wear it quite a lot. And do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 3.5 because I really enjoyed the pattern and it has this really cute detail with the curved hem. So I think that it's very possible that I will make this again, but with more natural colors, maybe a brown version or a gray or a green. Not sure, but I think that it's very possible that I can knit this again. So the total score here is a 3.8. Yes. we have my Christmas Eve blouse. And I haven't talked about this in the last vlog when I finished it, but basically this is my first self-drafted blouse. I did use the Petite Knit Cumulus blouse as the, I guess, the base for casting on, but then I totally changed it, so it's not even a Cumulus blouse anymore, but it's a basic raglan sweater, only that it has a v-neck and also a slit here, or a keyhole. When I was happy about the increases down here, I just stopped and continued knitting back and forward to create this opening, and then I joined under here and knitted in the round. So that's how I did a keyhole. And then somewhere halfway I increased the number of stitches, I think like every third or something, to create this flowy wide bottom. And then I finished the edges with an I-cord. And for the straps you have to start with a separate I-cord thread. Yeah, so you attach it on one side here and then you knit around and you come to the other side where you don't pick up any more stitches but just continue on the thread itself. That's how you make, or I did the straps. And for the sleeves, I think somewhere here I doubled the number of stitches just to make it wider. And then I also made another keyhole here, or a slit, the same way I did for the in the front. And also the I-cord straps, I did the same way. I have written a pattern for myself in Swedish, and I thought I would post it on Ravelry, but I haven't done that yet. But I think I would, and I will post it in English as well, I think. And the yarn that I use for this is the Adlibris Alpaca Cloud. It's very squishy, airy, light, but also a bit scratchy, so not my favorite. I can wear it without any issues, but if I wear it for a whole day, it's gonna be irritating on my skin after a while. So did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I did, but I gave it 3.5. Or maybe I should have given 4 because it was a self-drafted design. And then how much I've worn it since, I gave it 3. I haven't really worn it too much. I mostly worn it during Christmas, but I think that this might also work for the Lunar New Year. And then do I want to knit this again? I gave it a 3. Yes, I might, but maybe make it slightly different and not use this yarn as well. In total, I give this a 3.2. And then lastly, in December, as I mentioned in my last vlog, I wanted to talk about this in this video. This is the nude hoodie by Knit Studio, but I have modified it quite a lot. So it's supposed to be a 1x1 rib all over, but here on the sides I did a 2x2 rib because I'm not sure, but I wanted to make something different. But for the scarf part, it's a 1x1 as in the pattern. The thing is, I had some issues like how should I convert the 2x2 into 1x1. In the end, I just decided on I'm just gonna do it. And I think that it worked out quite fine. And then you have a double knitted band on the edge, which is really nice. It gives it a more refined look, I think. On the back here we have an I-cord. I used the Lang Yarns Yak for this. This is one of my most favorite yarns ever, but it's so expensive. I bought this in Copenhagen and I want to buy more. So I might treat myself with some for my birthday in March, but this is so nice. It's very soft, but not too fluffy. It has held up really great. It doesn't peel, I think. So I worn this every day since I finished it. And before that, like I mentioned, I wore the weekend hat, the gray one, every day. But this one, because it's a scarf as well, it's so convenient because it's attached. So I don't have to bother to keep track on 2 separate pieces, which is nice. And I just wished it was a bit longer because I only bought 4 skeins, so I wish I had 1 more skein, and then it would be slightly longer when I tie it on the front. But I really like this yarn, so I want to make another one. Maybe not exactly this one, but yeah, something similar. And before I forget, I ended up with a decreased scarf ending because, like I said, I didn't have enough yarn, so I wanted to make the most of it, and I thought it would be prettier with a pointy end. It really worked out nicely like this, and maybe I should have started with that a bit higher up to make it also more seamless, but I think it's fine. So let me rank this. Did I enjoy knitting it? Yes, I gave it 3. It's quite standard, but I learned new techniques. So it's just that I think that it took me quite some time to finish this because I was busy with other things. I didn't really got the chance to properly enjoy this. And then how much have I worn it since it's finished? I gave it a 4.5 because I basically wear this every day now. And then do I want to knit this again? Like I mentioned before, I might want to do something similar, but not maybe exactly this one. But I still gave it a 3. So the total score is a 3.5. And the last thing for this video is to take the total scores of all of my pieces and rank them. So we have my top 5. So on 5th place we have the Lindgren sweater. I think that is very fair. I really enjoyed this and it is a great piece. On 4th place we have this Stockholm Slipover V-neck in the brown color, which is kind of surprising, I think. Not sure why, but I guess that's how I evaluated my knitting. And then on 3rd place we have the weekend hat, and then on 2nd place, this I agree with, is my Stockholm Slipover V-neck in the navy blue color, because that's one of my favorites. As I mentioned before, I think it's very versatile and one of my essential piece of garments in my wardrobe. But then at 1st place we have the Cumulus cardigan, and I totally agree, that's my top favorite from 2024. It's so soft, it's so beautiful and like slightly elegant, but also has this everyday look that you can wear when you want to feel a bit pretty, and it's just very light but still warm as well. It's so versatile and I would love to make something similar to it. And if you're interested, my absolute last places are the actually there are 2 pieces. It's my army top, the blue top with the deep V-neck, and then Forest Edge by Drops Design. Yeah, shoulder bag and the top sole. Those are my bottom 4, very accurately so, because I haven't worn them really. So that was everything. I hope you don't feel like I rushed too much, but you can always revisit my other vlogs to see more of how I did them and what I think about them. In total, I knitted 18 pieces, garments and accessories. There were 6 accessories, 1 frog, and then 12 garments like sweaters, etc. And then I also have knitted other things that I haven't mentioned here. I have knitted Christmas ornaments, small teddy bear toys. I made a crocheted bag. I have sewn project bags, a needle holder pouch, a cord holder pouch, and an accessory holder pouch. I want to do other things other than garments this year as well, but I'm still like working on my wardrobe, so that's the main priority, I guess. That's everything. I don't want to talk anymore. I also have somewhere to go, but I really thank you for watching my vlogs and this video as well, and for subscribing and leaving comments. I really enjoy seeing that there are people watching my videos, and I'm very surprised as well that there are so many of you. I'm very thankful, and I hope that 2025 will be another year that I can share all of my projects and grow with my channel. If you want to have more live updates, you should definitely check out my Instagram. I'm very thankful and happy to have started this knitting journey, and I'm very excited to see what else I will knit during 2025. So if you're curious, I would hope that you can subscribe to follow my knitting journey. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great knitting time and that you're doing well, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye! Hej då!